Hey, this is Santina Muha on StarShine Magazine.
Calling all creatives, music artists, and actors. Are you ready to take your brand to the next level? At Sandy Low Media and Marketing, we help you shine with professional media kits, press releases, social media strategy, branding consultations, and custom content creation. And right now, we're offering an exclusive deal, 20% off all services when you mention code STARSHINE20. Whether you need a killer press release, a polished EPK, or a strategy to grow your audience, Sandy Low Media and Marketing has you covered. Email marketing@sandylow.com today and let's make your story unforgettable.
Welcome to the Starshine Stars podcast, brought to you by StarShine Magazine. For over 20 years, Starshine has been shining a spotlight on music, TV, film, and the creative minds who inspire us. Here on the podcast, we dive deeper, bringing you exclusive interviews, behind-the-scenes stories, and fresh conversations with rising stars and fan-favorite icons. Whether you're a diehard fan, an aspiring artist, or just love discovering what's next in entertainment, this is your all-access pass to the world of pop culture. So sit back, turn up the volume, and get ready to meet the stars of today and tomorrow. Hey, Starshine fans, this is your host, Sandy Lowe, and you're on the Starshine Stars podcast. Today, my guest is Santina Muha, and she has a very memorable scene in the new Freakier Friday movie. Thank you so much for speaking with me today. For people who are watching this who may not know our connection to each other, we go back, I don't even know how many years it is now, but we met in a press room for Z100 radio station in New York. And were you writing for a magazine at the time? I don't even remember what publication it was.
Yeah, I was working for Tiger Beat and Bop magazines, just
Okay.
an East Coast correspondent.
Gotcha. Very cool. So yeah, that's kind of our connection. We've been Facebook friends ever since. But I was so excited to see all of the great things you're doing. One for disability advocacy, and then two for all of your acting credits. It's very impressive. How did you get started in acting and making that transition from working for Bop and Tiger Beat into that?
I mean, I've always wanted to be an actress. I've always been I've always dabbled in it. I did plays and things like that growing up. And even when I was a little girl watching TV, I would like figure out where I would fit in the credits, every time that I would watch a show. Like if I were on this show, this is what I would do. I would turn around like this or whatever type of show it was. So I've always been interested. And then I mean, anything in the entertainment industry at all, I'm sort of interested in. So that's kind of how I started working with Tiger Beat and Bob. I just wanted to be around celebrities, I guess, or whatever. And a good friend of mine, Colleen Brumal, you may know her because she was also in the circuit. She got me the gig, and then and I loved it, and I loved going to the events and stuff. But it was more confirmation for me that I wanted to be doing the stuff they were doing. So I would like ask questions for the magazine, but I'd have more questions for myself. You know what I mean? So I don't know, I just kept pursuing it in little ways. I mean, I also studied production in college and journalism and basically anything that's I can't sit behind a desk. Can't do it. Not for me.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I totally feel you there. Even though I do a lot of sitting at my desk writing, but yeah, 9 to 5, traditional work wasn't for me either. So I totally understand that.
But
So recently I saw you in Freakier Friday, which I was so excited. I knew that I saw you post on Facebook about it. So I was like expecting like to see you like briefly or like in some kind of cameo kind of thing. And then I was like, wow, that's like one of the most memorable scenes of the movie was your scene. So tell us about that experience and filming that.
oh, I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. Are you kidding me? When I found out I got the part, I was like, yes, these are the ones. These are the parts you. This is why we do it. And I actually shot two scenes and I'm only in the one because the first scene we shot didn't make sense with the ending that we ended up shooting the second scene. So I shot a scene with Jamie Lee Curtis, which was like, of course, dream town. And then the next day I came back and shot my scene with Lindsay. And I mean, Lindsay and I are cut from the same cloth in a way because she's Long Island, we're around the same age, and she's East Coast, I'm Jersey. So, and when you take people from the East Coast and put them together in the same room in California, immediately we're like, hi, you just like, you know what I mean? You just do. And it doesn't matter if it's, who it is. And that's what we had. We had that. We just had that sort of, sarcastic shorthand where she could kind of just give me a look or something if something was going a little crazy, or if we were waiting a long time for the cameras to set, or whatever little things, silly, nothing major, but little things that you can look to your friend and be like, okay, or whatever little silly things. We had that immediately just because we have that East Coast shorthand, so I loved that. And the other thing that was really cool about that experience, because I know you mentioned that I'm in a wheelchair, was that was the first time I had a wheelchair accessible trailer. Usually they end up putting me, in some sort of weird room off, somewhere off site. And it's like, I don't know. It just feels like not great. And this was the first time I had my own trailer with like a wheelchair lift and stuff. I mean, the whole experience top to bottom was pretty good.
That's amazing. Um, yeah, and I feel like, if you don't know you as an actress or your line of work in this movie, you wouldn't know that you were in a wheelchair because it's a sitting scene. Um, so
Right.
it's like, yeah, like my husband saw it with me, and he didn't know because that was the first time he ever saw you, and I was like, oh, I was like, Santina's so like amazing, and has done all this advocacy for people with disabilities in the industry. Why don't you share a little bit of the things that you're trying to do for that?
Well, I mean, exactly what you just said is, does it matter that I'm in a wheelchair and not in that scene? I mean, you actually, when you watch it the second time, if you do, which I'm sure you will, because it's one of those movies, you'll see I do roll into the scene. So you can kind of see I'm in a wheelchair. It's not something we're hiding. It's just not relevant to the scene. Why would who cares? In my normal life, I don't, introduce myself to people like, hi, I'm Santina and I'm in a wheelchair. I mean, whatever. If it's relevant, it will come up. If not. So I'm always trying to push for more of that, like, and I've been really lucky because I did UCB, the Upright Citizens Brigade, and it's a comedy theater. And through that, I made a lot of contacts in the comedy world. So whereas before I felt like everything I did had to be disability related, it didn't, but it just felt like it did. Uh, Once I started making friends in the comedy world, I started getting called in for roles, and I would see typically in the past when I'd go for an audition, I'd be in a room full of people in wheelchairs, and it didn't matter. It could be a 40-year-old man with a 20-year-old girl with a 12-year-old little kid and like a 60, and I'm like, what is the role? Well, what are we doing here? Like, what is this? So when I started going in for roles and I would sign my name, in the sign up sheet and see a room full of comedian, women around my age that weren't in wheelchairs, maybe one or another one was, or maybe not, didn't matter. I'm like, thank you. This is what I'm supposed to be like auditioning for, not generic person in wheelchair. There's a lot more to us, obviously. You know what I mean? You don't lose your personality when you sit down, do you? Like, no. So um, that really meant a lot to me when I started going up for roles against like Lauren Lapkus, who's the wrong Missy, or Mary Holland, who's like, she's done a lot of great stuff. The Christmas movie she did, oh, I can't remember the name of it right now, but she's done a lot of stuff. These are like actresses that you recognize when you see them for their comedic genius and not because they're walking. Like, it doesn't matter. So that's been like a great part of my journey that I'm so proud of, that now I'm going in for roles that are not. And actually this role came from I had been on a show called Dollface with Kat Dennings and Brenda Song. It was a really fun show, and the woman who was, well, one of the writer of Freakier Friday and the director had directed me in an episode, and in an episode of Dollface. And when she saw this role, she was like, who I think would maybe be good for this is Santina Muha. And so that's how I got the audition, was just from my part on Dollface, which again had nothing to do with me being in a wheelchair. That part, I actually played kind of like a bitch, which we love.
That is awesome. Yeah, no, I love that because it shouldn't be your personality is not your wheelchair, and your talent is not your wheelchair. So it's amazing that you're now getting those types of roles, and it's being, where in Freakier Friday, they were catering toward you, that it was important for them to make you feel comfortable, and that says a lot.
Yeah, yeah. I think we've come a pretty long way with disability in media and television, as far as it's not just the very special episode anymore, like, the Saved by the Bell or the 90210 very special episodes that I grew up seeing, which always made me feel so like it was cool to see to feel represented on TV, but also the episodes were so alienating that it was like, I don't know if I want to see this anymore. You know what I mean? I related more to Kelly Kapowski or to Brenda Walsh, not to the one character in the one episode of the one thing, in a wheelchair. So
Where,
I
where
think,
Zach hosts a wheelchair basketball game.
yeah, it's like a mortifying episode, actually, if you look back.
Yeah.
And again, yeah, I'm Kelly. Well, actually, that one didn't have Kelly. That one had Tori. So I guess I was Lisa in that one. But but you know what I mean? It's like I resonate more with the character more than the personality of the character rather than the physical characteristics. But now I think we're doing better, but I still think that there's a lot of work to be done in that world. There could be more. There could be a lot more than one character per series in a wheelchair. Maybe they could have some different personalities. Maybe I don't think I've ever seen two characters in a wheelchair in the same scene where it didn't have something to do with ever in my life. So we still have a long way to go, but I remember growing up in the 90s where there was like this like big gay boom of television, where you had Queer Eye and Will and Grace, and it was like it seemed to revolve around it. And then now it's less of that. Now it's you can have two gay characters on the same show and they can have completely different personalities, and it's not about that. So I really look forward to when we can get closer to that happening.
Yeah, I get very frustrated when it's like a gay character, like you said, and the focus is their sexuality, not on their storyline as a person, or there's so many, like Nancy Drew was really like, they bring on one gay character and that was the focus. I'm like, this is a mystery supernatural thing going on, and suddenly we're taking a break from that to focus on their sexuality and their father not approving of it. I'm like, I'm why can't we just make it a gay character, but he's still involved in what's going on in the storyline?
Exactly. Right, exactly. And so like that feels relatable to me, even though the circumstance is a little different. It's really very relatable to me. Nobody wants to be identified by one thing, and if you were to identify me by one thing, it would be that I'm from New Jersey. It's like that's my thing. I'm Jersey girl. Like, you know what I mean? That's like way more prominent, I would say, than whatever. I mean, it's part of me. It's not, but come on. There's other stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I totally agree with that. And I'm glad, like, I was so excited about that scene in Freakier Friday. Just seeing your natural comedic talent displayed was amazing. I loved it.
Oh, thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
my friends who watched the scene were like, how much of that was improvised? I said, well, we did a little bit of improvised. And they're like, yeah, because that feels like what you would say and what you would do. I don't think I would hit on a married man like that, but just like the tone of it and everything, it felt very me, which I is fun. It's just fun to be able to do that, It's fun.
Yeah, definitely. Can you share any of your other projects that you have coming up?
I have, oh yes, I'm on a Disney show. It's actually airing right now on Disney Channel, but all episodes are going to be moving to Disney Plus on September 17th or something like that. It's called Electric Bloom, and it's really cute, and it's definitely a show that I would have loved growing up. It's about three girls, who start a band in high school, and I play the teacher on a few episodes of that. Another great, fun comedic role, which has nothing to do with being in a wheelchair. So again, we love. Um, I'm working on some writing. I'm writing a book right now, and I'm just trying to, you know, get myself out there, just in this world of creating your own content and stuff like that. I could probably be better at that. Because like I get
We all
lazy.
can.
I'm more of a consumer than I input more than I output. I think social media, which I try, but how do you guys do it? How do you guys do like everything? I don't even know where to set up my camera. I always forget after I'm like, I should have filmed that. It happens all the time.
I have the same struggle because, I'm an author as well. And I'm like, oh, I should be more prominent on Book Talk and all this stuff. And I'm like, I just get so overwhelmed. And I'm like, I'm just trying to do as much as possible. But I'm like, I'm one person. How do people do this?
Exactly. I know. I need a social media manager or something like that. That would
And the
be
funny thing is, I do that. But if for my own stuff, I'm like, I'm exhausted. I don't want to do it.
exactly. I get it. Burnout is real.
We always end every interview with a message to your fans and to your future fans who are yet to discover you. What would you like to say to them?
I mean, I guess, I don't want to, the first thing I think of is the don't give up, but I'm sure everyone says that. I want to give it like a little bit more. I think it's just staying true to who you are and really, I mean, that's another sort of cliche one, but understanding that like there's how do I say this? I'm just trying. They're all so cliche. Like there's a place for you in this world. Like and then not cliche in a bad way because it's true, but it's that it's the thing of just. I guess what I want to really say is there's peaks and valleys, right? So you never know what's gonna hit, when it's gonna hit. Just have fun every day. Do something every day that makes you happy. Unless you're like sick or something, then just rest. You don't have to overdo it. Save your energy. But just know that if stuff isn't working out today, that doesn't mean it's not going to work out tomorrow. And that goes for everything. And it's like life is not linear like this, right? It's not a hill. It's more of a it was like this, it goes like this, it plateaus. This has been really exciting for me. I love this role. I love the attention that I'm getting for this role. I'm getting shout outs in magazines and things. I haven't really experienced that yet in my career. So it's really, really cool. But eventually it will end. And then there will be like crickets for a while. And that happens. And that's okay because like there could be, you never know when the next thing's around the corner. So I guess yeah.
Well, thank you so much for talking with me today. It's been, like I said, so exciting to see your career grow like this. And I hope that it just keeps going up from here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so happy we were able to keep in touch all these years. And I think it's so cool that you're writing books. And I mean, I remember when you wrote your first book and I saw it on I just, it's very inspirational to me. Anybody that actually finishes their book, because I have 70% of my book done and I did it during COVID. So this last like 30% has been 5 years of like, come on, so just finishing something and not letting perfection be the enemy of the good is really important.
Yes, that's like the biggest thing. I think that was one of the first pieces of advice I got as a writer was it's never going to be perfect. So don't keep over editing and don't stress over it. Like like I still think I should have edited a little bit more for my first book, but I did take that to heart because I'm like, yeah, perfectionism is can be a killer of any project. You were a wonderful interview, like I knew you would be. So
Thank you so much for having me. It's exciting. Thank you.
no problem. All right, that's it for this episode of the Starshine Stars podcast. A big thanks to my guest, Santina Muha. And don't forget, right now you can see more of Santina in the September issue of StarShine Magazine, available at starshinemag.net. Ruby Rose Turner is on the cover of that issue. And don't forget, our October issue comes out October 7th. So be sure to stay tuned to starshinemag.net, subscribe to our newsletter, follow our podcast, do all the things so you keep up to date with us and what interviews we're featuring next.